is this thing designed to embarrass me or what?
What is like your hope for the rest of the year and for 2021?
It's been said that we've lived in a reset year. So I think that there's a blank slate, blank sheet, and it's what are we going to carve our world into? So I think that for me, my hopes is that this is an opportunity for the kingdom of God to be manifest. There's no such thing as a vacuum in life. If we don't occupy, somebody else is going to occupy. If we don't bring God's counsel, we don't bring God's solutions, God's wisdom, somebody else will bring their alternative solutions. So I think right now we have a fair chance to shape our world, our streets, our communities, starting everyone from where they live. You know, your street, your neighbor, what are you going to do about things? You decide what happens spiritually, what happens materially, physically. And so we have an opportunity to redesign our world according to the blueprint of God. And I think that's my hope, that we will take it seriously and we will drive it, and everybody thinking what they do is important.
Yeah. I think one of the beauties of Christmas as a Christian is that we get to really focus on the meaning of Christmas, which is Jesus. And focusing on that, what is one of the most impactful God moments that you've experienced this year that you would love to testify and share with people?
At the risk of sounding spiritual, I think I went on a retreat. I was stuck. I wasn't down in my spirit, but you know when you feel a heaviness and you know, something's not right, I need to get with God. And so I went away and I walked in the woods.
Wow.
And I'm not a walky, woody person. I like comfort and I like my convenience. But I walked, and as I was just going to stop, I felt like the Lord said, you're doing it again. You're stopping too early. You're stopping too early. So I felt like a challenge. I thought, okay, my back was hurting, my legs were hurting, but I pushed myself uphill. And as I went, I felt like I'd broken through something. So it was an encounter for me personally. But the significant thing was I walked into areas that I didn't ever think I would walk into. It was very foresty, very woody. I pushed myself beyond what I was acquainted with. That was another milestone for me. I walked to a certain place and I thought, this is it. This is what my life is going to look like. And this is what this is where I'm going to end in my life. Literally, I saw my life like 30 years forward, or 20 years, whatever years. And this is what God's going to say to me. But the significant thing was that I began to speak into the next phase for those who, and I felt like I said to God, this is not an end, this is a baton passing.
Wow.
And I literally at that moment felt like I was passing on a baton. So I began to prophesy into the lives of those who would come after me in leadership to influence their world for good. And a favorite phrase that came to me was when God said to Elijah, wherever you stop, whoever escapes Hazael's sword, Jehu will get. Whoever escapes Jehu's sword, Elisha would get. And I think that was a moment for me where I'm thinking this world will not be lost because I just passed it on. They will pass it on and they will pass it on. And I spoke into the future. In my life, I walked away thinking, yes, we accomplished something. It's a new beginning. It's a new lease. And I think God, in his mercy, gave me a glimpse of the future and gave me an impetus to go forward and press into what he'd called me to do. That was a life-changing moment for me.